Paul Ruffin may not fit the image many people have of a poet. He's a proud member of the National Rifle Association, and he fits right in here in the woods of eastern Texas. When he's not writing or teaching classes at nearby Sam Houston State University, Ruffin does chores around his home. He prefers a rural lifestyle over city life.
I wanted more land. I wanted out of the city. And I'm out in the county now where I can be a little more relaxed, shooting guns in the backyard if I want to.
Ruffin has a collection of guns that he uses for sports shooting, a popular pastime in rural America. One of his ancestors fired the first cannon at Fort Sumter in 1861, starting the Civil War. Ruffin says such men and their deeds inspired the first recitations of verse.
Poetry began in the oral tradition. I mean, you would have these warriors or hunters come in from a hunt or a battle, and they would reenact the hunter battle and do it in poetic form.
Ruffin grew up around rough, rural people often called rednecks. He discovered he had a knack for writing poetry as a child. At university, he studied literature.
I know that there are people who, upon encountering me out somewhere, would consider me, you know, a redneck. And I can talk the language, too. But the point is that I am equally capable of sitting down with the most educated people and carrying on a conversation.
Ruffin uses the culture and language of rural Southerners to enrich his poems and stories.
If the good Lord had meant us to have split tongues, He'd have took away our shoulders and arms and feet and give us scales and cold blood. Lots of groundwork for mankind was laid in the Garden of Eden, but split tongues wasn't one of them. I love writing in the Southern idiom. I love redneckese, quite frankly.
Now that he's the Texas Poet Laureate, Ruffin has more opportunities to share his stories with audiences.
And had he lived in a classical time, he would have fashioned his own wings of feathers and wax and flown toward the sun, so swept up in his ecstasy, he would not have noticed when the wax began to melt, feathers loosening, would not have cared had he crashed into the sea.
Ruffin has published 800 poems, 2 novels, and several collections of essays and short stories. And he's working on a new book of poems to be published next year. Flakus, VOA News, Willis, Texas.